Cool.
Sweet.
All righty.
What's going on, everyone? This is the Aggie Gameday Extra Podcast. I'm senior Texas A&M sports writer Travis Brown, alongside one Max Crawford. Max, how are you, buddy?
I'm very well this afternoon. How are you?
I'm lovely. It's kind of gross outside. Can you
It
fix
is a little bit. It is a little bit, but forecast verified. By fix it, I think it depends on your definition of fixed. A lot of people are a little ticked that it is not going to be a chilly one at Kyle Field on Saturday. Plenty of people are perfectly fine with it, but there have been some people in my mentions be like, it's December. Be like this. It'd be like,
I'm fine with it not being chilly. Hey, but I do want a chilly Christmas.
Yeah, you're not going to get that
many
either.
of the, of those 70 degrees. You're out in shorts and t-shirt.
Yep.
It's not very festive.
Well, it's a tradition now, but it's exactly what we're going to do this Christmas. So,
good. Well, we are, as I'm sure everyone would imagine, a little slammed over here, getting ready for this big matchup against Texas A&M and Miami in the college football playoff. So we're going to have a little bit of a different format today, a little, maybe not abbreviated, but the match, this part will be abbreviated. We're going to go and jump right into the matchup here in a second, talk a little bit about this game. And then for the second half of the podcast, I talked with former Texas A&M volleyball standout Hollann Hans to talk a little bit about what she's seen in this A&M volleyball team that is headed off who's already headed off to the Final Four. Will face Pittsburgh in the semifinals. So a little different formats, but we'll get right to the meat of it, and that is the matchup against Miami. Max, what's your initial feelings on some of this? Because I think I'm gonna come up with some of my thoughts and feelings about this matchup on the fly, because I vacillated back and forth so much.
I think very similar vibes. I was excited when we first drew that, and then as I kind of looked a little bit deeper into it, I thought, well, shoot, man, this is a really, really talented team. They've got great receivers. They've got a really decent defense. And so, the more and more you think about it, the more you're like, yeah, this is going to be a challenge. But, it's the playoff. We would have had a tough draw no matter what, assuming we were 7 or worse, right?
Unless you get Tulane.
Which we can argue that point all day long. There's nothing that hasn't been said about that already, whether or not we should have gotten Tulane or, of course, James Madison, whatever. But yeah, after that, you're thinking, okay, it's going to be Notre Dame, it's going to be Miami, Oklahoma, or Alabama. And I think the most favorable matchup that we could have drawn in that group, believe it or not, is probably Alabama. But and then maybe I would kind of do it a tie between Oklahoma and Miami, mainly because Oklahoma's offense doesn't scare me, but their defense definitely does. And I think Miami has obviously a better offense. I think they have a worse defense, but still a really good one. So I guess mind says, you know what, this is going to be a really close game, and it's probably going to be a possession or two, or a possession deciding for it. Heart kind of says, you know what, let's just flip and roll. It's playoff ball at Kyle Field in December. That's what we were hoping and praying for, if not a bye in the playoffs. So I'm a little bit in the happy to be there department right now, with the caveat of we didn't finish great last season, and we did not finish with a win this season. And so I'm just hoping that there's not a trend that we're going to see of this peaking in October and early November type of deal with Elko teams. And so my heart needs a win, but my heart also kind of expects one. So that's where I'm sitting with that. I think quarterback pressure is the key.
Yeah, Tyler, where are you sitting on this?
So the closer we got to this week, the more nervous I felt or uneasy for A&M's sake. Because, the more I looked at the match, I was like, Miami's stacked and they're talented. And the way it's not like last year, because it was very obvious kind of there's just a literal cliff that the team fell off of. So they didn't do that this year. But when you look at the last few weeks, the last few games, there seems to be a decline in inconsistency in play, at least.
You've been a little what's going on here?
And so it seems like, well, if A&M's trending in the wrong direction and you're playing a really solid Miami team who, you already mentioned the receivers and their edge rushers and a capable quarterback, you start to feel a little nervous for A&M. for some reason this week, well, not for some reason, but I'm feeling a little bit more almost in favor of A&M because I think this is the best case scenario. Obviously, they wanted the bye and they wanted to go to the SEC title game. Well, they had all this extra rest. What better way to get momentum back than coming back to Kyle Field?
Yeah, absolutely.
You're back at Kyle Field and a healthy team.
Yeah.
I think a healthy Le'Veon Moss and a Scooby Williams is out there healthy. I think that could be the difference maker in this game.
And a healthy Mario Craver, too.
And a healthy, if you've got your best players healthy, I think that would be the difference and the tipping point. Because I think Le'Veon Moss is a game changer. And Scooby, Mario, all those guys.
These guys didn't forget how to play football, right? And they've proven that they can handle coming out of a bye situation and getting healthy and coming back to Kyle Field. I don't think you can understate either of those 2 points, really, because I don't think you can overstate either of those. Sorry, but it's going to be at Kyle. Sure, it's at 11 o'clock, but I mean, it's going to be flipping rocking in there. And it to me is a situation where I don't want us to come out slow because that's when I think we're in trouble. And A&M has shown that they have the ability to come back and stuff like that, but not against a defense like that. Like Notre Dame's defense got them a lot better as the year went along, but their defense obviously did not play very well against us. And I think that's one of the reasons why we were able to come back against them. Obviously South Carolina, but I think we got to get ahead and stay ahead.
Yeah, let's dive into some of the numbers here. Total offense, pretty comparable between the two teams. Miami does have a little bit of the defensive edge in this, as we've seen a lot of times when A&M struggled, it's been the season with turnovers and on some rushing defense, to be precise. Scoring defense, Miami's only allowed 13.8 points per game this season. Now that is arguably against a weaker schedule than A&M has faced this year. But the fact of the matter is, when pretty early in the season, before Miami went off to play SMU, I thought Miami was the best team in the country. They were around two.
We were like Miami 3, A&M 4 for a little while.
I thought Miami was the best team in the country, and then they just didn't put it all together in the middle. They had some injuries, but they certainly have some talent, and it is a matchup that I think when I first saw it, I'm like, okay, the A&M should be able to handle that. And as I've kind of thought about it and percolated on it a little bit more, I'm like, this is going to be a close one. The two other things to look at: turnover margin. Miami is 0.75 turnovers per game. A&M's in the negative, and a lot of that is because of the end of the season. They turned the ball over a lot more, but a lot of it too is they haven't really forced a whole lot of turnovers this year, and that is those sudden change instances in must-win games like this can be absolute backbreakers for teams. So the other one is the third down matchup should be pretty good. A&M, of course, number one in the country in third down conversion defense, only allowing 22.7% of those conversions to go through. Miami is 20th. They convert at a 47.2 rate. They faced, I was trying to go back and look at this, when A&M faced Missouri earlier this season, they were like in the top 10 in third down conversion percentage. They were really good at that. So A&M's seen a better third down conversion team. Now, granted, they also faced Missouri with a third string quarterback, so it was kind of it was apples to oranges there. But I like A&M usually winning out in that scenario. They've done a pretty good job of winning out in that scenario so far this season. I don't know. I think Malachi Toney, their freshman wide receiver, who has been just a stud for Miami, is going to be an absolute force and someone to really have to look at and keep an eye on where he is on the field. And Bain, their defensive end, is a pretty salty player on defense. This is going to be as good of a matchup as A&M has seen this season. I believe we had Jay Bateman yesterday saying this is the best offense they're going to see this year.
Yeah, and because I don't worry too much about A&M's defense. I mean, you spelled it out. Number one in the nation in that third down defense. So I think they're going to win that third down battle. But what's been kind of a crutch at times has been their run defense. And so depending on how much they're locked into just locking down Malachi Toney, is that going to open up some running lanes for Miami? And, you know, are they going to be able to just kind of extend drives and run the ball on Texas A&M? That would be a key. So, yeah, I think that matchup will be very interesting. You know, how much do they go in on, hey, we got to shut down Malachi Toney, but obviously they got other capable pieces everywhere. Yeah. How do you feel about the A&M defense against this offense, Matt?
I think I feel, like I said, I feel better about our defense going up against their offense than I would have against Notre Dame, to be completely honest, because Notre Dame would have just pounded it off. Right.
Yeah.
And I think that is going to be a sneaky part of the game. Are we going to see kind of like a Wisner performance where you weren't really expecting that, you know, from the Texas run game in that game, but all of a sudden that became a major factor because we were overcommitted to whatever. And so I think that could be, obviously that's something we don't want to happen, but I think if we get to the position where we're forcing them to do one thing or the other, I like our chances on defense. Is a lot of Miami fans, and just like, not Miami homers, but people who think Miami's going to win have been toting Carson Beck's stats like since that last loss, which I forget whether they lost to Louisville or SMU first. But so I think he's thrown 1, maybe 2 picks since that most recent loss. And the first half of the season or whatever it was, he threw so many more. And so I still think the key is trying to make him as nervous as possible. And honestly, I think if that makes us have to take a couple of licks in like a misdirection run play, or maybe overcommitting and trying to get him down and like a sneaky Toney screen, and we take our lumps that way, as long as we don't give up point. Like, I think we are going to give up some chunk plays is what that boils down to. I just, I like our chances of shutting them down in the red zone. And I think that's where the game is going to be won. I talked about quarterback play and how I really think that's the most important thing. It's whichever quarterback has the better game is especially in the turnover margin, is going to have the winning team. Unless Le'Veon Moss is perfectly healthy and we can just lean on him through the second half, I think the quarterback performance is going to tell the story. But I also think that red zone performance is going to do that. That's why I give us the edge, because Colin Klein is great in the red zone, and our defense is pretty decent in the red zone, at not necessarily at keeping them from scoring points, but allowing field goals instead of touchdowns.
I think this is going to be a pretty low-scoring game. Miami likes to run some of those sneaky Toney screen. I think that's the ultimate play call. I want to write up a play that's just called sneaky Toney screen. Yep. I think both teams will probably try to feel this game out a little bit, kind of hit some jabs early before they try to throw any haymakers. A&M is probably going to have to rely on the outside game, the outside screen game, the RPO game, to try to kind of spread out the Miami run defense, because they're probably going to put a lot of guys in the box. They're really good at rush defense. In fact, they're 7th in the nation, allowing 86.8 yards per game this season. I would expect them to put a lot of guys in the box early, especially if Le'Veon's back there, and kind of try to send a message to him a little bit early. And so I think if the game opens up, it's probably not going to be until the second half.
Yeah.
Might be a little bit more low score. Could be kind of similar. I think A&M fans would hope it is the opposite of that, but could kind of feel and look similar to the Texas game.
Yeah, I think so.
In that
you also, sorry, go ahead.
No,
you also mentioned Missouri, and obviously Missouri's offense is way different than Miami's offense, but I can see it kind of going like that game, except without the separation at the end. And Ahmad Hardy. Sorry, Henry is the UTSA running back that I just still have flashbacks about.
Henry is UT. Yeah. You got it.
Ahmad Hardy was kind of the X factor for the Missouri team that kind of made it seem like, oh, maybe they're coming back in here. And obviously their quarterback play was really bad. So, schematically, Missouri and Miami's offense, like there's no real comparison there. But as far as like two teams with two good defenses, kind of rock 'em, sock 'em for like the first half, and then maybe there's some separation in the second half, I could definitely see that. And that's just again where I give us the home field edge, and assuming we have a still perfectly healthy running back stable, that's where I would hope that we'd that we'd start to open it up a little bit. But you know what? I said the same thing like 3 weeks ago against Texas. I thought that was the formula to beating Texas, is to take your licks in the first half, get the schemed drives out of the way, the scripted drives, and then just kind of play your game and show them that you're the more physical team. We didn't really have that chance to do that because Texas sustained drives, and we had a couple untimely penalties, and we had a couple untimely turnovers and stuff like that. We've talked about this ad nauseum, but like all of the flaws that we saw pop up at random times was kind of just with an exclamation mark on that second half. I don't really see that happening this time around. Like, I think these players understand the stakes. I think they know that they could, okay? I'm not going to, all right, Travis, they could, they not will, but they could beat any team on this slate. From 1 to 12, they could beat any single one of those teams.
I'd agree with that.
I think they know that. Obviously, there's been some press clippings that like a lot of Miami fans have been taking run with from what Trey Zune said, and then I think Regis said something the other day that's like, there's your locker room material and stuff like that. Like they are confident. They're going into this game thinking that they can and will win. I think they just need to do that. They got to take care of the ball and go out and just win.
Yeah, if it is like that Texas game, because you go back to the Texas game, if Marcel doesn't throw those interceptions and this is big ifs and converts on those, that's a much different game, and they have a chance of winning that thing.
Right.
So you can't have those untimely turnovers against this Miami team. If you talked about the quarterbacks being the key, you need a game-winning drive. Do you want Carson Beck or do you want Marcel Reed?
Yeah. And I think that's a very valid question.
Who do you want?
That's a very valid question.
Carson Beck.
I think I want Marcel just because of his additional playmaking ability. And I think I'm going to give Marcel the benefit of the doubt still. Like, Texas was clearly, from a clutch standpoint, I don't know about statistics, but like from a clutch standpoint, that was very clearly his worst game of the season, maybe even like top 3 worst of his career, just as far as like leading the offense to a win. But he's proven that he's more than capable of doing it so many other times that's why I like the home field advantage there. I like the Marcel home cooking. I think he's going to make a mistake or two. He might even throw 2 picks. I think that is a possibility, but it's the reason we lost that Texas game was not necessarily because he threw 2 picks, but it was because he was not able to overcome the mistakes that he made. We also you could argue we didn't have enough time to overcome those mistakes, but make those mistakes, take the licks, and then go out and like lead an impressive drive.
Like he's South Carolina.
I'm curious to see if this Marcel is different and more like a kind of early in the season Marcel, because we don't know how much the Heisman voting was weighing on his shoulders. But is this a team that is going to go into this game that they already achieved an 11-1 record? The Heisman was there, but it wasn't. Is it going to be a team that plays a little bit lighter? Now it is the playoffs, so maybe the pressure is on and then some again, but they achieved enough. Is it a team that plays lighter? Is it a Marcel especially that plays lighter?
Yeah.
Because he's only playing just to win the game. He doesn't need to have style points or a Heisman moment or worry. Someone had asked him once if he's planning on striking the Heisman. Like, he doesn't have to play in that anymore. It's just win the ball game.
Go out there and win. And like, that he's coming back next year. So there really is like a nothing to lose standpoint. He's your guy. So yeah, just go out there and win a daggum football game. Let me ask you guys, they had 2 days of press availability this week. What were the vibes that you got from the players? There's obviously a lot of moving parts here. We've got 2 departing coordinators and things like that. But to me, from just the fan perspective, from the Elko to Bateman to Klein pressers and listening to a couple of sound bites from the players, to me, it seemed like it was pretty business as usual.
It was. And I will say with the coordinator thing, I think Colin Klein being a head coach, like he is a head coach right now, almost might help in this. He seemed, and this is just from a up on the podium kind of thing, he just seemed so much more loose and like,
he's got nothing to lose, right? So
he's got nothing to lose. I think this could be a very good game that Klein calls.
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about his head being in other spaces and stuff like that. Like, he knows what's next, obviously, but why not try and win a national championship on your way out? But that's only going to help him. So I think from that aspect it'll be good. The vibes I got from Elko, honestly, were very, and I think we talked about this a little, very similar before the Texas game, where he didn't want to say too much.
Yeah.
He's just kind of, put your head down. Let's work. Let's go. Kind of players, same thing. Nothing too. I know there's been a lot made out of the bulletin board material. To me, it didn't seem like it was too.
Yeah,
things are taken out of context.
Sure,
at the time.
of course.
I don't think that they came in all pompous and had that we don't worry about Miami at all. I think like you said, I think it was a business like usual kind of mentality.
The other thing that we need to talk about in all of this is the kicking game. I know we've talked about it a little bit, but Max, you're the one who kind of brought it up first back, and when you get in these big game situations, it could come down to a college kicker situation. Yeah. And who do you want out there?
Oh gosh, I couldn't begin to. I think my gut would tell me just stick with Bond, stick with your guy. Allow him to go out on a good note. Whether he does or not remains to be seen. But I think especially from a longer kick perspective, that's where I don't worry as much. It's almost like the chip in ones that are on a hash that I really worry about a Randy Bond kick. But if it's like a 45-yarder plus, just let him go out there, trot out and do it. But I do wonder if we do get in those situations where we're in the red zone and it's like a nice 4th and 2 or 3, are we just going to straight up just go for it and not worry about our kicker? I do still think that whenever we get out of the playoffs, I think it's going to be the kicking game that ends up being the reason. I think it's going to be a loss by about 1 to 3 points. And I think it's going to be because we missed 1 or 2 field goals that we probably shouldn't have missed. Hopefully that is not this Saturday. I really don't think it will be. I would be much more concerned about that, assuming we go on to play Ohio State.
College Game Day is going to be here, so they're going to do their Home Depot kick for $200,000.
But yeah, you have to bring that kid in.
Yeah.
Going back to your question a little bit too, I think the vibes did seem similar to before Texas, and for the most part, especially the defense. If the defense comes out like it did in the first half of the Texas game, that's gonna be great.
Arch was 8 for 19 at one point.
Didn't look great.
Yeah. So Carson is a similar guy. He's not as fast as Arch, but kind of more of a you hope that he wins the game with his arm type of quarterback. And man, honestly, the more and more I try to figure out what this game is going to be like and stuff like that, I think as a fan, I'm so grateful for the season that we had and how cool it is that we can wrap it up with one more game at Kyle Field. Hopefully not wrap up the season, but you know what I mean? We get another home game. And that is so flippin' cool.
And a chance to go to the Cotton Bowl.
Yeah, and that would be there's grassroots organization to get Cotton Balls and have those ready just in case we win. It should be a really, really fun Saturday at Kyle Field. I don't think we're going to get blown out. I think that's near impossible. If we lose a close one, I'm sure I'm going to be pretty downtrodden about that. But assuming we go out there and we see a team that gives it their all, it's going to be pretty hard for me to feel like this season was not a success. Especially when you go back and listen to some of our podcasts and talk about what's best case scenario? What's the best thing that we can reasonably hope for? I think all three of us would have been 9-3, maybe 10-2 would be the best that we can reasonably hope for, right?
My column at the beginning of the season was that I had them at 8-4, and it was 8-4 until they proved otherwise.
Yeah.
And we proved otherwise.
Not pretty much 11-win season.
Right. Pretty much every BAS demon was slain. Except for a couple.
Yeah.
But that's okay. You can't slay all the demons in one season's time. So I the trajectory of this program is absolutely insane, and I think better than what anybody could have expected. And I've said this on the record before. I think Mike Elko is going to win a national championship. Is it going to be at A&M? I sure hope so. But I think he is going to get it right eventually. And this new age that he has absolutely embraced, I think he's more than equipped between the years to assemble a program that will win it all at some point. And I said several months ago, I was I hope we're patient enough with him, because I did think that 8-4 again was a huge possibility. So I think we're ahead of the curve right now. So that's where I sit with that.
Let's prediction time.
Yeah.
Okay.
What do we think, Max? Do you want it, since you're flowing? Do you want to go ahead and keep your flow state going with your prediction?
Yeah, I like your low score prediction. I guess this is not necessarily low, but I think I'm actually going to say the same score that I said for Texas, which was 24-17. That's about. I think it's going to be team in the 20s, team in the teens. I could see it being flip flopped. I could see it being 24-17 Miami, but I think we do something of that variety. That's where I'm sitting.
I'm along your same wavelengths. I'm going, again, I told you because of the health, I'm going 26-23 Texas A&M.
Yep.
I can pull it out.
I'm going to go 21. Well, okay. I'm going to put this. Every game this year, I went exactly with my gut, and I said, this is what my gut's feel is. Not necessarily like the head or the analytics per se. My gut is saying Miami wins. The logical part of my brain says A&M 21-13. I'll go with the logical side. But I will admit that this is the first one that I'm kind of going against what my gut thinks. I think my gut thinks Miami wins, but I'll say locked in A&M 21, Miami 13.
Right. No turning back now.
No turning back now.
Okay.
No turning back now. So, we are going to take a little break, and at the other side of it, I spoke with former Texas A&M volleyball standout Hollann Hans, and she kind of looks a little bit at where this A&M volleyball program is now and the excitement going around it as they head to the Final Four. We'll be back with that.
Over 40 years ago, my parents started C&J Barbecue, and today we continue to honor Dad's legacy with the best barbecue in the Brazos Valley. With locations on Harvey Road, Southwest Parkway, and our newest location on William Joe Bryan, we carry on our family tradition of serving up award-winning barbecue, sides, and desserts. We also offer delivery, catering, as well as custom menus and private chef services. Come visit us today for some of the best barbecue around. C&J Barbecue. The C is for Chip, the J is for Joe, and the barbecue is for you.
All right, welcome back to the Aggie Gameday Extra Podcast. I'm here with a very special guest, and that is former Texas A&M volleyball standout Hollann Hans, joining us, not really live because it's a podcast, but from Corpus Christi. Hollann, thank you so much for giving us a few minutes of your time. And I guess first, we'll just start off with tell the folks who are Aggie fans and followed you, kind of what are you up to these days?
Yeah, well, first and foremost, it's great to see you. It's been a while, so I'm grateful to be able to catch up. But yeah, what I'm up to, so I am back in my hometown, Corpus Christi, so kind of made my rounds around Texas, and I got right into coaching after I finished. And so the high school club, college level, and then decided that I wanted to go just take it easy a little bit, and so now I'm just teaching and living life in Corpus Christi. So that's kind of what I'm up to. That's been great.
That's awesome. Well, so we've talked a little bit before we started recording here that you've been able to tune into a few of the A&M volleyball games this season. From your perspective, what has just made this group so special?
Oh man, there's a lot. I think just first and foremost, just how talented they are. I think that goes without saying what a talented group these group of girls are, and just the elite level that they are playing at right now. And just like the steady progression of how they've been getting better and better throughout the season has been really cool to see them peaking at the right time. But I think also another thing that stands out to me is just the teamwork. I think I loved my teammates, and I can see that with these girls, that they love each other. That they play for each other. They play for their coaches, which is huge. Coach Morrison and the whole staff have just done an excellent job with creating such a solid culture. And so that for me just is so evident, just watching them play for each other, loving each other, but also playing and executing at a really elite level, which is obvious. So yeah, I think this team is really special. And so I love getting to watch it.
Yeah, so, I mean, there's a countless number of players almost on this team that have made a huge impact. I know you were a sixth rotation player, but a very good attacking player. What have you seen from Logan Lednicki, Kendall Stowers, even the middle block, Finna, some of these standout seniors that have really kind of carried this thing, and who's caught your eye in particular over these last few games?
Yeah, I think just their fearlessness. They are not afraid. They go up and they're just smart. Look at what they do. And so they know how to pound the ball, but they also know how to keep it in play and keep like going. And so I think for me, I'm just seeing smart volleyball, really high execution of volleyball, fearlessness, which is so fun for me to see, just them banging the ball, but also defensively. I'm like, man, they're not just focused on, okay, I'm going to bang some balls, but they're also focused on, okay, let's put up a great block. And they are doing that and they're breaking records. And so, yeah, just all around volleyball, I think. Also, obviously Logan has been the star and it's well-deserved. But she is not carrying the whole load, which is really cool. She has help from all around the team. And so Kendall Stowers, I've loved getting to see her just rise to the occasion and, just execute at such a high level. And even Emily Hellmuth, I love watching her play. Just her joy has been really cool to see. But, I think just all around, like they are a well-rounded team, defensive, offensive, serving. I mean, I loved serving. And so for me, that catches my eye. So just all around rock solid team.
So you talked a little bit about Jamie Morrison and his staff. From an X's and O's standpoint, what's kind of the hallmarks of what you've seen from his system that has been so huge, especially going up against a behemoth like Nebraska and being able to take them down in the region finals?
Yeah, I think it all starts with the coach, and he has just built such a strong foundation and culture for these girls, and they've bought in, and it's so obvious to see. And I'm just amazed at his coaching. His coaching style is really cool to see, just his investment in the game and how committed he is on the sideline to every single play. And I think that feeds into the girls. And I think just the speed of their offense has been really cool. Maddie Walk has done an awesome job running the offense. And I think her offensive play is also a great weapon for them to have. And so, I think just seeing how he's incorporating every single player into the game and not relying so heavily on one, but they're just all committed and incorporating their skills into the game. And so, I think just all around serving is great. Ava Underwood is just elite defensively. And so blocking is off the charts. And so, I think just seeing their well-rounded play is really cool.
You mentioned how the speed at which the offense plays, and we've heard from Jamie Morrison a lot about having a fast offense. For maybe someone who's new to volleyball, what does that mean, and what can they be looking for when they watch these Final Four games to know about the speed of the offense and how impressive that is?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, I think it's a big thing, especially getting into these higher level games. That tempo is really going to help teams out. And so it allows the offense to get on the ball before the block gets to the ball. And so I think we're seeing that Maddie is delivering beautiful sets quick to the outside, and they're able to get on top of it really before the block is able to get formed. And so, for me, I think that it just really helps the team out whenever they can not only run a quick offense, but execute it. So I think there's difference there. So I think they're running it and they're executing it, and just all around defense is crushing it. And I think it allows the hitters to feel confident when the defense is behind them, because they know that they've got their back, so they can go up and pound some balls knowing that defense is right behind them, ready to cover. And so I think just all around the quickness of the offense is good for the offense to just feel confident going to bang some balls.
Yeah. So with heading into the Final Four, the team came back and had this big welcome at Reed Arena, and Reed Arena's been full. What is it like as alumni to see kind of what Jamie Morrison and this volleyball team has done for volleyball, and really volleyball as a sport kind of around the country right now? It seems to be really taking off.
Yeah, I think just as an Aggie and former alumni, I am beating with pride. I just see these girls and all the hard work they've done. When I was a senior, these girls were being recruited, like Ava, Logan. So And so just getting to see them succeed and get the recognition that they deserve has been really cool. And once again, our 12th man proves to be the best fans in the country. I mean, that's a no-brainer, but we're proving that again. And so to be able to see them walk off the bus and celebrate with the fans, it is really, really awesome. Kind of brought me to tears. I love just getting to see Aggie sports succeed, especially my sport, volleyball. So thankful to get to see that and so proud of them.
Yeah, and with that Nebraska game, I mean, that was some intense volleyball. What was some of your favorite moments about it? And I know that was the one set that they didn't win, but had you played a 37-35 set before that? That was wild.
I don't think I have. I mean, maybe that I can't remember. I feel like I'd remember that. But no, that was awesome. I think just the relentlessness that they showed, and Logan said it at the end of the game, just like grit. And that shows that. And especially like you lose that set, that hard-fought 35-37 set, but then you come back and you win. Like that's hard to do because a lot of teams would just be deceased after that. But they just turned around and gave it right back to them. And yeah, I mean, that was just some of the best volleyball that I've watched. And it's really cool to see A&M succeeding like that. And yeah, I think for me, another thing that I see is just their determination. Like they get excited, but they're also next play. And for me, that is really, really important to just have a short memory and be able to respond like the way that they do, whether it's good or bad. And so, yeah, I just think it was really, really awesome to see them do that and exciting to watch.
You mentioned it. You were kind of there when some of these seniors were getting recruited. Did you get to host any of them on any official visits or get to know a little bit of them as they were younger, as you're now getting to see how their career unfolded?
Yeah, I mean, so we didn't ever have any officials with them, but I remember them on campus quite often. And I remember summer camps. And so that was the first time that I got to meet Logan, was at a summer camp. And we were excited because we wanted her to come to A&M, and just getting to, get to know her a little bit then, and seeing her grow has been awesome. I mean, she's so fun to watch, and just their humility is really cool. Like, they're so good, but they're also humble and they're hungry. And so I know quite a few of them, Ava. So yeah, it's really, really cool to see them succeed and just see them grow over the years.
And we'll close it out with this. You played in plenty of big pressure-packed games. None of them are going to be as pressure-packed as going to the Final Four this year. What do you expect or hope to see from the girls this weekend as they go out there in this pressure-filled environment? And maybe some strategically, what do you think will be best for them to be able to come out successful and maybe bring home a national championship?
Yeah, I think that nothing really should change with the way that they have been playing. I think if they play the way that they have been, it's really hard to stop. And I can see them making it to the finals and winning. Honestly, I think that with the type of talent that they have, but the type of, like I mentioned earlier, grit and determination and focus, they're a really hard team to beat. I just think that continue to have their fearless mentality. No matter who's on the other side of the court, that doesn't change the way that they should play. And they have proven that they are able to play against anybody, that they are able to respond to anything, that they are battle tested. Those 5-set matches will battle test you, and they've been able to prove that they can do that. And so, yeah, I think all the teams are great. So these Final Four games are going to be tough, but if they play their game, then like I said, they're going to be hard to beat.
Well, Hollann, thank you so much for giving us a little bit of your time to break down some of this volleyball stuff. It's an exciting time here in Aggieland with both volleyball and football playing for national titles. You're going to be able to watch the football game this weekend as well, I assume?
Absolutely. Yes. Volleyball, football, I'm all about it.
Well, thanks again for everybody listening. This has been another edition of the Aggie Gameday Extra Podcast. We'll see you next week.